My name is Taylor Me Lee. I have most recently lived in Southern California near San Diego, and this is my second retreat. I just finished my second retreat here second in 2 months. You had asked how I heard about the medicine. I've known about ayahuasca for probably 8 years, known that I wanted to do it. I just always felt like the time would feel right, and I just woke up a few months ago one morning and said, I want to do this. I texted one of my very good friends and said, do you know anybody? And they gave me Pedro and Carolina's information, and I went on the website and read a little bit watched about 2 minutes of a video just like this, and was like, okay, if people are talking about their experience this way, then that's legit, and I'm just gonna go, and I'm so glad I did. I mean, I'd heard that the medicine shows you what you need to see, and so I was a little bit afraid of having to experience the depths of my fear. I'd thought a lot about what I was afraid of and felt and maybe suffered under a lot of fear, but I really had to experience the depth of my fear, and that was really scary. But I'm so glad I did that. That was in my first ceremony, or first set of ceremonies, because I felt like I went all the way there, and to be able to come out. I remember Carolina, you said, I promise you'll be grateful for this. And I so was, to come out of feeling that level of fear. It was important for me to do that, and that's really what I felt like I got out of that first set of ceremonies, is experience, really knowing in an unvarnished way, like, this is how much fear I'm actually carrying all the time, and this is the weight of it. I really got present to the cost of my body and my spirit, and just truly a weight, like how much I was just carrying moment by moment by moment. And I knew after kind of the dark night of the soul in that first set, I'm like, I am coming back. I think I signed up for the next retreat that next morning, or I made the decision, and I knew there was more work to do in this kind of first pass with the medicine. And so, having just completed my 8th ceremony, let me just, for pretty much I'm 38 now, for pretty much my entire young adult and adult life, since really around the age of 11 or 12, I have carried with me a intense hypervigilance, always on the lookout for things that could make me sick, could lead to really acute pain, whatever acute pain means for me at the time, whether I was a teenager and that meant getting rejected by the people in my new school, or as I got older and my mom got sick, being worried about getting cancer or getting sick. It was kind of the pain, this topic of the fear would shift, but that kind of hypervigilance of always guarding, well, what if this goes wrong, and what am I going to do, and how do I manage that, was just always with me. And yet, while that was like this program that has been running with me forever and ever and ever, I've devoted so much time and energy to, meditation and self-study, and just, I could feel like my soul is like wanting to be free and living free, and yet there was this part of my body that was still almost like addicted to the chemicals of the fear. it's hard to even like admit that it was an addiction, but it kind of was. It was almost like I needed to feel, it's like my brain needed to feel that in order to feel safe. You know, I don't fully understand it. It was diagnosed as obsessive compulsive disorder when I was a teenager. And, you know, that was a description that was kind of helpful, but it still didn't make it any easier to deal with. So what I really got in this retreat was a loosening of that, a real, as if that was like a caked on, baked on thing on a pan deep inside. It was like the medicine and the process just like blasted it with warm soapy water, and it just loosened and it started to go away, and there's just been this profound relaxation. So one of the things that it's been manifesting as more recently is this really tightness in my jaw. I've been clenching my jaw and grinding my teeth. I'm 38 now. Since I was like 15, I've been wearing a night guard at night and grinding through night guards to the point where I'd have like holes in them. The dentist would have to make me a new one. And just this, I could just tell intuitively it was like, at night, you know, all this mental activity, all this worry, like had to express, and I would just like clench my teeth at night, unbeknownst to me even. Jaw pain and, you know, teeth issues, and so that was like a huge motivator for me to come back, because I was like, I want to heal this, and I don't know how, and I don't know, you know. So I just, you know, we did a lot of work on that, and I just really feel like an opening, like a loosening, and just that I'm so grateful for. I'm just like, and it's funny, I know it's kind of a weird way to think about it, I've said it a few times, but it's not like the fears that I have are gone. I mean, I'll still have a thought of like, oh, what about this, or what about this, but the grip, like the insidious, deep, just grip that it has on my psyche is just no longer there anymore. It's loosened to the point where it's like I can feel those fears. And really what loosened it was love. That's what I really got in this ceremony, is I just started asking all of those sides of myself, like, what do you need? What do you need? And I would just listen, and usually the answer was just like, I need you to love me. I need you to comfort me. I need you to tell me that no matter what happens, you're gonna stay with me. And it was just this profound, I have this visual of like welcoming all these parts of myself. I'm like sitting at a table, like serving tea or like soup or something, and I'm welcoming all these parts of me and saying, just come, eat, and stay, you can stay. And just this profound relaxation and healing, and I'm so excited to continue that process and continue welcoming these parts of myself, particularly the parts that I've really shunned, you know, like it's one thing to have fear, but then there's that harsh energy of like, get away, I don't want to be afraid, you know, I don't want to feel this way, and just really allowing and welcoming that in. What do you need? I'm here. And yeah, just loving myself. And then really seeing what can be created. I mean, I'm so happy with what I've created in my life thus far. I'm very proud of everything I've done. And to think that I feel like I've been doing that, like hopping on one leg with one hand tied behind my back, and to see, man, if I can be fully capable and free and relaxed, like how much more can I create? How much more can I offer? And I just feel so excited and hopeful and grateful. And yeah, miracle's a strong word, but it really does feel like a miracle to me. I don't really have a lot of reference points, but I can't imagine it being any better than it was. I mean, I felt totally held, totally safe, totally seen, totally respected and encouraged and lifted up, and just with deep attention and focus on what I wanted to work on. And I'm a musician too, and so I know the power of music and the power of vibration, and I've just never experienced the combination of medicine and music and vibration as a way of I talked earlier about it felt like I had all this caked on stuff on a burnt on pan and loosening it up, and I felt like the icaros and the songs are like the water, that hot soapy water that loosens that stuff. It just gets in there and it just cleans it up and it shakes it loose, and it's a lot of energy but really well. And then the guidance that I was given in those moments when I could kind of feel myself what do I do? And then being reminded to bring myself back to my body and the breath, and being able to breathe through that, and hence allow the energy to express itself and move out or realign, that combination of real groundedness that you guys gave me in addition to the songs were, I mean, I love you guys so much. And I would trust you with anybody. The dieting, I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know that we would be dieting other plants. I didn't know the power of the combination of that with the ayahuasca, any of that. But I'm so glad to have discovered. My first retreat I did Bobinsana, and that was such a beautiful, heart-warming, comforting, nurturing plant that really got me connected, and a beautiful song came through while I was on that, and that I'd always heard about Noya Rao, the tree of light, right? And for tree of light retreats, and so I was like, oh, I want to do that, and it was. I mean, I've heard it described a bunch of ways, but totally just like someone went in my whole soul and turned on all the lights, and we're like, here it is. And it was a lot. It was a lot. And, but, oh, thank God. And so much laughter. I mean, moving through it, I would just have these spontaneous moments of laughter, just realization of the joy of being alive and the joy of being present, and that clarity that comes from seeing things. It's so much easier to see things clearly when they're illuminated, and that's really what I felt like the Noya Rao did for me. And I just feel so grateful. I'm so grateful to myself for putting myself in this position, for taking a leap, for trusting, for having that moment where I'm on the website in my house and looking at buying flights and paying money and oh, should I really do this? Am I really gonna do this? And just that, listening to that side of me, it's go, do it. And I'm so grateful to myself for listening to that. I'm so grateful for the support, for Pedro and you, Carolina, and for all of the people that we've been with, for this beautiful land of Costa Rica, which is such a nest for this work. And just that, for all the people that have been carrying this for so long, it's, what could be better than healing oneself and bringing oneself back to love and peace and joy to be alive. So I'm so grateful.